because I just don't see where the plan is. Antonio Conte's men are going to be driving for that Premier League. Did I say that? Did I really say that? Ooh dear. It is time. The Premier League season is over, which means there is only one thing to do, and that is to go back and have a look at how right, or wrong, we may have been about our Premier League predictions. Grab yourself some refreshment, because this one is going to be an absolute doozy. Please like the video and subscribe, it really would mean a lot to me. Hit that notification bell, because you never want to miss what's coming up. And now, without further ado, let's go through my Premier League predictions for the 22-23 season. Oh boy. Here's how it's going to work. We have the Premier League table up here. We're going to be going from 20th upwards, talking about every team in just a little bit of detail, and also discussing how close we may have gotten, or how far away we may have gotten in many cases. But that's for later. Now, let us begin. Up first is Southampton, or last I suppose, depending on how you look at it. They just didn't have enough. They invested massively in some youth prospects, and they got rid of Hasenhüttl pretty early on into the season. They sacked him when they were 19th in the table, and I don't really think they managed to get out of it all too much. Nathan Jones wasn't the right answer, and in the end, it just didn't seem like it was possible for Southampton to claw themselves away from the drop zone. And really, I'm actually quite impressed that I kind of called this one. Let's take a look. I'm just not quite sure that Southampton are going to have enough to stay up. So we ended up predicting them 18th, and I don't actually think that's too far away. Not bad. We're going to keep on that winning trend, right? No, not at all, especially when you have a look at the rest of the bottom three. Leeds United were managed horrendously, and when you actually look at the appointments that they made, Jesse Marsch to Sam Allardyce, it really does not scream success as well. And when you look at the likes of Marcelo Bielsa before that, there really just doesn't seem like a plan, and a lot of the players just shouldn't really be there. You heard a lot of Leeds fans saying you're not fit to wear the shirt, and unfortunately in some circumstances I do have to agree with them. As for Leicester, we really should have seen it coming, if I'm honest. If you think about the amount of players, I believe it's 8+ that are on the last year of their contracts looking for a move away. I'm including the likes of Yuri Tielemans, I'm including the likes of a James Maddison. It was no surprise that some of the performances were just not there, and when they ended up wanting to try, it just seemed a little bit too late. Let's go from 17th to 13th now, and we start with Everton. We had them in 14th, which I don't actually think is too bad. We expected them to have a little bit of a drop-off. We thought that Frank Lampard would bring them back up and then start to creep back on up the table, but it didn't really happen, did it? No, he has a terrible managerial record when it comes to Everton and Chelsea, and Everton found themselves languishing towards the bottom of the table on the last day. If it weren't for Sean Dyche and the way he set that team up on that last day, they would probably be down. So that's not great, is it? And now we have a look at Nottingham Forest in 16th. I'm actually quite pleased with the way this turned out. We expected them to finish 17th, just above the drop zone, but we expected them to stay up, which is something that not many other people did. And really, when you look at it, Forest did a pretty good job of maintaining their level. If you consider the amount of players that they brought in, Steve Cooper has done an absolutely fantastic job, and it's going to be interesting to see how they trim that squad going into next season. He knows his first team, he knows his general squad that he wants to work with now. Now it's all about giving them the extra tactics to be able to bring them forwards. I think Forest will be okay. Ooh, yes, this does not look good. We had them in 20th, Bournemouth, yes, they finished 13th. They've done amazing. Gary O'Neill has done sensationally well. But who didn't have them finishing in the bottom three? Really, honestly. Unless you're a Bournemouth fan, who didn't have them finishing in the bottom three? They've done fantastic, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do next season. Now, West Ham's an odd one, isn't it? Yes, I expected them to finish 7th. I expected them to go again, and they've kind of gone again. Europe has become a very interesting hunting ground for West Ham, and it seems like they're on the brink of a trophy. And if they get that, I think a lot of West Ham fans would consider the season a massive success. But when you look at the table, it's not great, and we had them finishing 7th, so yeah, that's not ideal. And Wolves in 13th. I'm actually pretty pleased with this one. I thought that we got it pretty spot on. We knew their striking options were a little bit limited, and that they needed something more. Take a look at this. Overall, at the moment, they need another striker, in my opinion. Scoring the lowest amount of goals in a Premier League season against everyone else, especially the bottom three, is something else, and really does indicate the fact that you need another striker. I think we got that call, and where Wolves were going to finish, pretty spot on. Let's keep it going, because I just don't see where the plan is. Okay, yes, 12th, not 5th, understand that, but we were on something. We saw it, didn't we? We saw that Todd Boehly was going absolutely crazy, desperate to throw his American wealth around Europe, and it just hasn't worked. The plan didn't fit. He didn't give Graham Potter enough time. He ended up switching. He doesn't know really what he's doing, in Chelsea just look a bit of a shambles at the moment. So generally, I get the position is wrong, but the feeling was right, and for that, we'll take it. Crystal Palace, we had finishing in 11th, and they finished 11th. Yes, get in. That is sensational. We have one right, people. We have one right. Am I taking the wins where I can? Absolutely. I know what's coming up. Crystal Palace, yes, it hasn't been the greatest of seasons. However, you would have taken 11th, I'm sure. I think you would have. Patrick Vieira perhaps wasn't the one. However, you cannot question the turnaround that Roy Hodgson has brought in. Do I think they should have stuck with Vieira for a little bit longer? Yes. Do I think it was the correct decision to bring Roy Hodgson in, though? Yes. That was absolutely a brilliant move. However, now I think you need to move away from him again and go towards another progressive coach. With the quality of player and the young talent that Crystal Palace have available, I think they're only on the up. Very positive stuff indeed. From the highest of highs really do come the lowest of lows, don't they? We had Fulham in 19th. Yeah, we might have got this one wrong. Marco Silva has done nothing short of a fantastic job at Fulham. They play expansive attacking football. Mitrovic is brilliant. Did I expect Mitrovic to have the same impact on the Premier League? Absolutely not. No, he has discounted all queries, all actual question marks over his head. He is a Premier League striker, and a darn good one at that. This one, yeah, this one isn't great. Fulham, you've done fantastic. Fair play to you. This is a bad run of form, isn't it? Okay, so Brentford, my thought process with that was they did amazing to stay in the Premier League, but everyone knows about the second season syndrome, and everyone's going to be talking about Fulham with that next season. Brentford did a fantastic job, and they lost Christian Eriksen, who really bumped them up midway through the season. He kept them in the division and kept them really away from the drop zone. And I did think that losing Eriksen, losing that quality, losing that class, might cause Brentford a couple more problems than it actually did. I didn't count on Ivan Toney scoring a ridiculous amount of goals, and perhaps his absence into next season might cause that drop-off that I expected to happen this season to happen next. Brentford, there is no question about it, finishing 9th is unbelievable, and really you need to just be extremely happy with where you're at. I couldn't be happier for you. You're doing sensational. Keep it up. Well, yes, okay, yeah, right. Listen to this. Antonio Conte's men are going to be driving for that Premier League. Driving, yes, they are absolutely driving. Nobody's at the wheel, but they're driving. The car is moving, but who knows where it's going to be going. It's been a season to forget for Tottenham Hotspur, really, hasn't it? With Antonio Conte's implosion, with them appointing his second-in-command when they didn't want to play the same brand of football, and then appointing Ryan Mason, who hasn't really had an impact. It's been just disastrous, really, hasn't it? There's no plan, there's no forward thinking, there is no idea of what they want to do, and yet Harry Kane is still scoring 25 plus goals. Let him leave! Okay, I don't think we're too far off with this one either. We had Aston Villa finishing in 8th, and while the method they used to get there wasn't exactly what we predicted, the position is still fairly similar, so we can take that as a half win, right? Steven Gerrard massively underperformed with this very promising Aston Villa squad, and I think that's what we were really going off. The promise of the squad, and Unai Emery has come in and done an absolute masterclass in a way to get teams motivated, in a way to get them playing, and a way to get them believing in an ideal to be able to push them forwards, and that reward is European football. Just sensational. Brighton, I don't think you can even be mad about this. You can't be disappointed at all. Brighton have outperformed their expectations tenfold. They've finished in the Europa League places in 6th. I had them down for 13th. Yes, that doesn't look great, but really, Brighton should not be there. They should, but they shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. And I'm so happy for them, because when you think about Graham Potter and you think about the fundamental framework that he built down at Brighton, the recruitment is sensational. Yes, the recruitment is fantastic. But when De Zerbi came in, I don't think anybody expected the level of impact that he would make. He took that framework and he took that groundwork that Graham Potter had instilled in these players, and he used that to create attacking formations and a way of going forward. It's just fantastic to see. It's just brilliant. Brighton have made European football, and I'll be wrong for that. Nope, not even entertaining it. Nope. Nope, there is no way you're telling me that anybody predicted that Liverpool would go from being essentially 2 games of football away from history, from the quadruple, to finishing 5th. And they barely did that. They had to win 9 games in a row to even get anywhere near finishing 5th. There is no way you're telling me that anybody predicted it. I definitely did not, and I will hold my hands up for it. Fair play. If anyone did it, then fair enough. Let me know in the comments if you'd predicted it, because fair play. That's some call. Liverpool, it's been a nightmare of a season. Surely they're going to go again. Okay, it looks bad. Bear with me though. I have a reason. I have an explanation. Whether that reason is correct or not is neither here nor there. But Newcastle, I think, have been massively disrespected. Not by us here. No. By the teams around them in the league. I think that a lot of teams didn't expect Newcastle to be as good as they were, and that's kind of what I was saying in my prediction video. I said that a lot of teams will be taking Newcastle very, very seriously. They will alter the way they play, and that just wasn't the case. Everyone kind of acknowledged that Newcastle was doing very well, but everyone expected them to tail off, and they didn't. Everyone expected them to put in some subpar performances, and they didn't. And even when they did, they managed to bounce back fantastically. Now that's credit to Eddie Howe and the team that he's created and the ethos around the club that he's managed to generate. But really, when you look at the teams in the league, they didn't do anywhere near enough to try and stop Newcastle from doing what they wanted. That, I think, will change next season. Newcastle are now a force, and a force that teams are going to be taking very, very seriously. I thought that would happen this year, and it just didn't materialise. Newcastle took advantage, and that means they're playing that sweet, sweet Champions League football. Manchester United finishing in 3rd, we had them in 6th. I'm not too unhappy with this one. I think it's pretty spot on, and I say it's pretty spot on because when you think about the things that he had to deal with, there were very muddied waters before the season started. What was going to go on with Ronaldo? Is he going to be happy with Ten Hag? What was going on with Maguire? Then you had the problem of the start of the season with Brentford loss, with a Brighton loss. They were humiliated several times. They've been humiliated throughout the season, and that's starting to paint a picture of something that isn't quite right there. While I think that Manchester United have done a fantastic job, I think they've still got some work to do, and they're still a way off even thinking about challenging. That being said, finishing in the top 4 is a massive step forwards. But if you were to have a look at Liverpool, Tottenham and Chelsea, and if they were to have the seasons that we all expected them to have, finishing in the top 4 will be far more difficult for Manchester United than it has been this season, and they struggled to do that. So perhaps this 3rd place finish is something of a false position. Food for thought. It's a fantastic season, but don't get carried away. I'm taking this one as a win. Yes, I know they challenged Man City. Yes, I know they did very, very well. But they still finished in the top 4, and although we had them finishing in 4th, not many people had them doing that following their capitulation the season before. Arsenal have done sensational. Yes, Mikel Arteta has done a brilliant job with the squad, and they've played some amazing football. But you are not telling me that anyone predicted, following that capitulation, Arsenal would be challenging for the title. Nobody would have predicted that, and if anyone would have said that, you would have assumed they were off their rocker. Arsenal finishing in 4th is very positive, and they made Champions League football, which is what we predicted. So I'm counting this one as a small victory. And that leaves one. Play the tape! Overall, I think that Man City are going to have far too much firepower for the Premier League without Haaland, because I think that Julian Alvarez is actually another sensational signing, but I do think that Haaland is going to make that difference. Okay, so it's not the most difficult thing to predict in the world, but a win is a win, and really, who would have ever thought that putting one of the best strikers in the world into one of the best teams in the world, managed by one of the best managers we've ever seen, would result in winning a title? Surprise, surprise! It happened, and Man City end up winning the title by quite a canter, and without Arsenal it probably would have turned into quite a boring affair, especially with Liverpool dropping off the way they have done. It's been a great season, it's been a great year, and these have been my predictions. Now I want you to let me know what yours were. What did you get right and what did you get wrong? I would love to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe. It really would mean a lot to me. If you would like to support the channel a little bit more, you can do. You can become a channel member by clicking that join button and following the instructions. In doing so, you get a whole host of perks, including member badges and exclusive member videos. Just click that join button and become a club member. All of your support is very much appreciated, so thank you. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on all of my predictions, what I got right and what I got wrong, and I want to hear your predictions. What did you get right and what did you get wrong? Let me know. I would love to hear from you, so please do get in touch. That is it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.